What happens if I can't pay my care home fees? That's a question we often get on our advice line. It actually usually comes from a worried relative who understandably wants to know what happens to their loved one if their money starts to run out. It's such an important question and not at all surprising, with average care home fees currently running at over £1,300 a week. So let's take a few minutes to talk through what you might be able to do and how you could prepare just in case. As you'll probably know, there are various financial thresholds which, when reached, someone who has been self-funding their care should become entitled to support from their local authority. In England and Northern Ireland, once your savings fall below £23,250, your local authority will help you with the cost of your care. The local authority, of course, will need to do both care needs assessment and a financial assessment if they're going to be asked to step in and contribute. If your loved one has equity in a property and there is no spouse or any dependents still living in that property, then it will be included in the savings calculation. The thresholds are a little different in Scotland and Wales. In Scotland, it's between £22,000 and £35,000, and in Wales, it's £50,000. So if your loved one is in a care home and their savings are getting close to these levels, the first thing to do is contact your local authority. Don't wait until the balance hits zero. In fact, what might be better is to talk to the care home first. Many homes will be used to this situation and may be able to work directly with the council to cover payments. So that's the first piece of advice. The next piece is to check you've explored all your funding options. Is your loved one claiming all the financial support they might be entitled to? For example, if their needs are primarily medical, they might be entitled to NHS Continuing Healthcare funding. Applying for this can be quite a detailed, not to say difficult process, and my understanding is that only about 1 in 5 applications are successful. However, if you think your loved one might be eligible, it might be worth talking to Farley Dweck. They're experts in this field, and there's a link to them in the description below. Another thing to look at is attendance allowance. The good thing about attendance allowance is it isn't means tested at all. There are 2 rates, a lower rate and a higher rate. The lower rate is currently just under £75 a week, and the higher rate just above £110. When you're paying in excess of £1,300 a week for a care home, it probably doesn't feel like very much. But as they say, every little helps. And if the local authority has agreed to pick up some of the cost, then this extra bit might be enough to get you over the line. Now, one of the hardest questions we get asked is, if my loved one actually runs out of money, will they be forced to leave the care home? Well, the truth is, it can happen if the fees of the home they're in are substantially higher than the local authority is prepared to pay if it has to pick up the bill. If this is the case, you might want to explore top-up payments. This means the local authority pays a proportion of the fees, but any extra is covered by somebody else, usually a relative, sometimes a charity. It's never ideal to move an elderly and possibly frail person from one home into another. But if the local authority is not prepared or able to cover the fees of the home they're already in, a top-up arrangement is a way of helping them stay where they are. At this point, I have to say, I'm not able to give financial advice, so if you want to consider any of this route, it really makes sense to talk to a financial expert. We would recommend you look out for a SOLA representative. SOLA is the Society of Later Life Advisors, and you'll find a link to them in the description below. Moving homes, as I said, is never ideal, which is why we always encourage people to fully explore their care home options well ahead of time. Get financial advice early. It's always better to talk to the care home about what their policy is if the money runs out before your loved one takes up residence. And try to pick a care home that is affordable from the start. I know that's easy to say with prices seemingly on a steady upward spiral, but the right care home for your loved one is one that they can afford. At Autumna, we know how daunting this all sounds, but you're not alone. Our team can help you understand your options, find care homes within your budget, and connect you to the right support. Every registered care home in the UK is listed on our directory, and our simple care finding tool, look for the link below, will help you find the one that works for you. So if you're worried about care home costs or just want to plan ahead, visit our site or give us a call. We're here to help and make sense of it all.